Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I've got Coriander with me and also special guest, Ultimate Sunrise. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
All right.
Doing great.
How are
And
you?
thanks for having me on, Knight.
Hey, no problem, man. Tonight, I'm doing good. And tonight, we're going to be talking about our top predictions for the new Candyman movie coming out in 5 days.
Yeah.
It's
So
unbelievable.
close. Right?
Hi.
It's crazy, man. The time is just flying by, but yet I'm like, come on, hurry up, hurry up. I just want to see what's going to happen in this movie, man. I'm just so excited and so curious. I think curious is one
Mm.
of the biggest words for
Yes.
me.
Hmm.
Real quick before we get into our predictions, Coriander, I'll start with you, and we'll just kind of piggyback back and forth between you and Sunrise. I mean, how are you feeling here? 5 days out. What are you thinking? I mean, what are you feeling about this movie?
Nervous and excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. How about you, Sunrise?
I gotta say the same thing. I'm feeling nervous and excited, and man, I'm optimistic about everything in this film because
Yes.
I just know it's gonna be good. I know it's gonna be good.
It feels
Can't be
like it,
bad.
doesn't it? I mean,
Yes.
Absolutely.
yeah, I just got this feeling, man. It just seems like everything is
Yep.
pointing towards this movie being very, very good.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, man.
I've heard the like we were talking about the Rosen Towers,
Hmm.
how the sound's going to be, and seeing several of the clips. The cinematography is beautiful. The
Off the
Hmm.
acting
poster.
looks excellent, and man, I just can't wait.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a pretty cool poster too, man. I like
Yes.
Yeah.
that. All right, now real quick before we get into the predictions, I just want to make sure we see who we got here in the chat with us. Um, let's see, Gore's in the chat. My man Gore saying, "I'm there, man. I hear you. I hear you. Absolutely." Mr. Dan is in the chat saying, "I predict it will be awesome." All right, man.
Yeah.
All right. We
Same
got
here.
Dave. Yeah, we got David in the chat. What's going on, man? Welcome to the chat. Nice to have you. Saying Spooky Man. We got Logan in the chat saying, "I predict a beginning of a beautiful, beloved franchise. $100 million box office. Whoa!
Oof.
All
I
right.
Whoa.
wish.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you're saying that because we will be talking about a prediction. We'll see. Wow, that's a good one though. I hope so, man. Um, let's see. We've got Junebug in the chat. My man Junebug, always awesome to see. Say, I can't say I'm looking forward to the Candyman remake. P.S. I know it's a sequel, but if they're too lazy to add a subtitle, where am I to be lazy and call it a remake?
Oh no.
Yeah, man, I hear you. Logan says, prepare for 2 sequels and maybe a prequel. That would be
Ooh.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Logan saying Rosen Towers sounds great. All right. And just when I was about to say something too, we got Steven in the chat from the Movie Bros saying, I am counting on Jordan Peele's influence on this one. Absolutely,
Yeah.
man. And just to segue too, and feel free to throw this in the chat as well, Steven, and in the comments. The Movie Brothers, you guys got to check them out. I know I've been talking about them here and there, but they've got their Scream Fest coming soon, actually in a couple days. We got to check it out, man. A lot of great guests going to be on there as we are in full anticipation for Scream 5 as well. We got my man Monty G, one of our good friends on the channel. He's going to be one of the guest speakers on it. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to put the
Nice.
link for the Movie Brothers channel in the description, so definitely check them out. And Scream Fest is going to be awesome. Scream Fest 2021. All right. Junebug saying, I mean, what's the big deal? Candyman returns, right?
What do you mean it's a big deal? It's like a great fucking movie. It is a
It's a
big
gr-
deal.
it's a big
Yeah.
deal for me, man. This is the only movie that ever terrified me. I mean, truly terrified me.
Wow.
Jason,
Yeah.
Freddy, Halloween, they were they were scary, but this movie, I mean, every time I looked into a mirror whenever I was a kid, I was scared that this guy was going to jump out at me.
Right?
My head
Yeah,
was on a
man.
swivel.
The original, yeah, the original was just such a good movie, and we just talked about
Yeah.
that. And also, obviously, on Sunrise's channel, he talked about it too. Check him out. I'll have his link in the
Nice.
description as well. But yeah, man, the original movie was just so fantastic. And Tony Todd, I mean, what more do I need to say except for Tony
Right?
Todd? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yes.
So
He's got that voice, man.
he does,
Oh,
man.
yeah, it's mesmerizing. I always say it, and it
It
is.
is.
Logan saying the face of fear, right? Okay,
Right.
guys. Well, this is what we're going to do. Let's get into some of our predictions and have a little conversation about this. The first thing I'm going to put up, and I'll start with you, Coriander, and then to you, Sunrise. Will we see Helen in her after death form? And what I mean by that is, will we see her in the movie doing something, not just a flashback to her, and not maybe just showing her somewhere, but actually see her doing something in the movie? What do you think, Coriander?
I don't think she will, but
Okay.
I bet she'll be referenced. Yeah. I don't
Okay.
think she'll appear in it.
Okay. All right. How about you, Sunrise?
Well, we actually, I mean, we see Helen Lyle in the church scene sitting in the pews, right? So
Mm-hmm.
she's going to be there. And I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember exactly who it was, but it was either DaCosta or Peel that said, we're going to see her in pre-death as well, too.
Yes. Yep.
And I don't know if that's going to be whenever Coleman's William is telling the tale,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it's going to be whenever Anne Marie tells him about, hey, this is the girl that saved you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I think. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm kind of split down the middle. I think there's maybe a 40% chance, that we'll see her doing something. It would be interesting for sure, but she's definitely going to be referenced. Like you were saying, we do know that. So I think it's about a 40% chance we're going to see her in the after death form doing something, And again, I don't know what that would be, but something where she's doing something actually, real quick too, we got Eric in the chat. He was saying to Junebug, what if the original Candyman Sammy Davis Jr. was returning? That would be a big deal. Yeah, that would, man. Logan saying Helen will have her own urban legend that will be misconstrued. Yeah, that's a good point. A very good point.
Yeah.
We got my man Quincy in the chat too saying, I believe Anthony going to tell the truth about what happened to him when he was the baby, and also Helen is going to show Anthony the place by following her. Okay. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
That's a
true.
good point.
Hey, in one of the TV spots that I saw, it shows, the scene whenever it shows Anthony standing in the middle of the street.
Yes.
Well, it shows a point of view from one of the projects where somebody, just like Helen, with the kind of thing around her head,
Mm-hmm.
she's looking at him. So I
Oh,
think
wow.
she is
Okay.
going to help guide him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Sounds good.
that's a great prediction.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got Eric saying, does the actress playing Helen look like Virginia Madsen? I don't know who she is or what she looks like. She does. Yeah, she
Yep.
does. Her name is Cassie. God, I can't remember her
Kramer.
last name. Kramer.
Kramer.
Yes. Yeah, she does look like her. Yep. Yep.
Very good
Quincy.
casting.
Yeah, I think so too, man. Looks very much like Virginia. Quincy saying, I forgot to say his mom's going to tell the truth. Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. Okay, so let's go to our next thing to talk about. And of course, we're going to ask this: how much of Tony Todd will we see? And when I say this, what I'm saying is seeing Tony Todd in the movie, like he's physically
Yeah.
there, not a
Mhm.
reflection, not a shadow, not a formation. How much of Tony Todd do you think we're going to see in this movie, Coriander?
I think we're going to see more of him in this one than the original.
Really?
Yeah. I'm
Wow.
hoping.
That's a bold
That's my
prediction.
hope. Well, I'm hoping.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Hoping.
That's a bold prediction. Okay. How about you, Sunrise?
Yeah. Well, you have to be realistic about it. We're dealing with a film that has a $20 million budget. And whenever you're doing something like doing the facing on the, from something from a while back and de-aging, I think is what they call it now, that's
Yeah.
extremely expensive,
Mhm.
So I think that they're going to do something more interesting than just putting him in front of the camera and saying, "Hey, it's Tony Todd." You know?
Right. All right.
Yeah.
For me, man, I'm so conflicted with this particular one. I mean, I do think we're going to see him, but I don't know exactly how. I don't know exactly how. And they've been so tight-lipped about it, which I really appreciate, because I think it'll be such a great moment if and when we see him. However he is portrayed, we do know he's in it, but we
Yep.
don't know how. And I think that's a fantastic thing to find out. So that's going to be very,
In
very
some of
interesting.
those articles that we went through, he even said, it's, I don't know, the way I feel is, for me, if it wasn't worth his time, he wouldn't do it. And
That's true too.
I think he's going to be in it more.
If and that's a great point, Coriander. If we went by that quote, because he said he's got deals for T-shirts and toy lines and all this type of stuff, and he says, I don't think I would get all of that if you were only going to see me in the movie for a second or two.
Yeah.
So
Right?
if we go by that, I'm pretty damn hopeful.
Yeah.
Pretty damn hopeful.
Can we all just agree that we hope that Tony Todd is going to be in there with the pimp coat and the herringbone pants?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Stephen was saying one thing we can be sure we will see is bees. Lots of bees.
Yes.
And Logan is saying 15 minutes total. Wow. If we get 15 minutes total of Tony Todd physically in the movie.
Shit, I hope it's more than that, man.
Well, true, but I'm just saying that's a lot. You got to remember, in the first movie,
Yeah.
physically in the movie,
You said like a half hour, right?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little bit less.
I'm hoping it's more than that,
Yeah.
How long is this movie? Do we know how long it is?
I think I can't remember what I think I did see something. It
91.
is 91? 91 minutes? Okay. All right.
So there's so much time that we could see him, man.
True enough. Absolutely. Logan was saying coat legendary, right? Absolutely. Quincy saying, I think more, one was the painting of him, and the other, I believe, when Anthony looks Candyman in the mirror, and Tony Todd might be with Helen watching Anthony's transformation. That's a good point.
Oh,
that would be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Eric was saying, I hope it's very little Todd sprinkled out through the movie. It'll be more memorable. Look at Tim Curry and Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. Memorable performances, yet small screen time when added up. That's an excellent point. Very good. Yeah.
Very good point.
And Logan verifying 91 minutes for Candyman 2021.
Nice.
All right.
I was right.
There you go. All right. So our third prediction point we're going to talk about is, will Anthony McCoy become the new Candyman, or will he just be possessed? Will he just be possessed into doing these things, or will he become the new Candyman just as Helen made that transformation? What do you think, Coriander?
I think he's going to be possessed.
Just possessed.
There's only one Candyman. I mean, if you look in the credits of this movie, it's Tony Todd is credited as Candyman.
Yeah.
So, hey, he's possessed.
Okay. All right. How about you, Sunrise? What do you think?
I think both. I think that upon following the this tale that he's told by Coleman Domingo, that he's going to slowly become this. I mean, if you look at his skin, it slowly becomes to look like a beehive, and he's going to be becoming a part of the story. Yet all of the other characters are kind of going to use him in that hive. He's going to become the whole damn hive in the physical form. So that's
a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Very, very good point. Myself, I think. Well, I guess he's being, it's kind of a funny question now that I think about it. But I think obviously he's being possessed in a sense, but I think ultimately, he's going to become Candyman. And I'm not necessarily saying a new Candyman. I'm just saying he's going to become Candyman. And like I said, this movie is so many fantastic things that to be uncovered, and that's what makes it so damn exciting to me. It really does. So, our next one, Coleman's character setting up Anthony for the murders. Do you think that he's setting Anthony up for the murders? What do you think, Oriander?
Well, that's what he was doing to Helen in the first movie, right?
Well,
She
we're
was
talking
getting set
about
up.
Coleman Domingo's character in this movie. So he was telling Anthony the tale of who Candyman was and all that type of stuff. So we're talking about in this movie is Coleman's character setting up Anthony for the murders.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. All right. What do you think? What do you think, Sunrise?
You already know what I know, man. He is definitely setting him up for these murders, bro, because he's telling him this story. And we even hear in the trailers whenever Anthony's mom is saying he's trying to make you another one of his terrible stories. She's not talking about Candyman. She's talking about Coleman, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Very, very, very interesting. I like it. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
All right. And real quick in the chat too, to catch up with these guys. Eric says, what if Helen's spirit has to save Anthony yet again? Could be a cool twist. I hope they do meet up at least once. I think that would be a nice callback to the first movie if they do meet up or have some type of scene together. I think that would be very cool. I agree.
I agree as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Quincy saying, I think both controlling Anthony in his painting and his right side of his body later. Yeah, he might be Candyman of his generation. Yeah, that's what I think too.
He's becoming another one of the terrible stories.
Yeah. Yep. Logan saying, I think he will be possessed and will be added to the lore. Yep. Eric saying, Anthony is the one that got away. Candyman wants him to suffer, I think. It's a good point. A very good point. Because even in the original movie, he said, you're mine now, and he was talking to the baby, so that is a good point. We'll have to see how that plays out. I'm very interested in how it's going to play out for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Our next point, and this one is from Sunrise himself. A $40 million opening weekend. Will that happen? Will it happen or won't it, Coriander?
Damn, with COVID, oh my God, that's hard to predict. I mean,
I know it is hard because you look at the movies that have come out, whether it's the Suicide Squad, Black Widow, the Fast and the Furious movie, all these movies, Snake Eyes, and there's been peaks and valleys. These movies, some have done really well for the pandemic era, and some have done horrible. So it's hard to say. But what do you think? You got to go one way or the other. Can it hit 40 million?
Well,
you know what?
One question is. Oh, sorry. My question is look at Quiet Place Part 2.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
we're seeing a decline in these really big budget movies, but quite an increase whenever it comes to more of the these lower budget movies that just kind of have a cult following.
That's right.
And
good point.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. I really hope that this movie does well because I want to see more, and I don't want to have to wait another 30 years to see it.
Right. So you're going with $40 million. Coriander, are you going with $40 million?
No, I don't think it'll be that much, unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
I'm not saying it won't make millions, but I don't think it's going to do 40.
Oh.
Okay. Logan saying easily it's already selling out. I have heard so much about the tickets being sold out and everything. It's
oh wow.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm going to be definitely watching this with a close eye. Eric saying, is this movie theaters only? 40 million might be asking for a lot for a horror film. Yes, it is theaters only.
And not streaming.
No streaming.
Scarlett Johansson actually just sued Marvel for her losing $50 million for them streaming it. So I think that there's a big calling for this new Candyman movie, and I think people are going to go to theaters to see it.
Yeah, I think people are going to go out and see it too, man. I do.
I know I am.
Yeah. Let's see. Dan was saying, I think a lot of people will see it in the theater, even by themselves. Yeah, I hear you. Logan saying, Jordan Peele, cult following. Yes, it's going 50 million plus the first week. All right.
Wow.
You guys are going for it. Quincy
I
saying
hope so.
I have faith it's going to hit 40 million. Even more diehard Candyman fans never fails. Also, don't forget international as well. True enough. Yeah. Eric's saying, I think Peel being attached will help, though, since Get Out and Us were successful horror. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I agree with that. Steven saying, I suspect it will sell out early, but will die down quickly in the box office. Not because it's a bad movie, but I think the fan base is not as large for this franchise in general. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
We will have to see.
Got
All right, guys. Yeah, it is a good point because, a lot of these movies, the second and third weekends, you do have a drop. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this.
Absolutely.
Our last point that we're going to talk about here, and obviously it's the most obvious question of all, how good will this movie be? And obviously when I'm saying this, what I'm referring to is, can it match, what we expect? Can it match the legacy of the original? How good will this movie be, Coriander?
Oh, geez, that is such a tough question.
It is.
Because there's only like a handful of sequels that are better than the original, So, oh my
but
God.
But don't think of it as far as saying, is it going to be better than the original? I just want to know, is this movie going to be?
I think on its own, it's going to make
it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a disappointment, and it's going to create something new and something fresh that we've been waiting for. So, yeah, that's what I think.
That's what I'm hoping for. How about you, Sunrise?
Okay. First of all, in my opinion, we have to come to the fact that this isn't going to be as good as the original, I don't think. It's not going to have the Philip Glass score. It's not going to have the same overhead drop beginning that we all know and love. But after hearing Rosen Towers, some of the soundtrack, and seeing the cinematography that John Gillisarian did, which he's an excellent cinematographer, man, I'm telling you, I think this film's really going to hold up, Knight.
I think so too, man. I'm gonna put it to you this way. This is what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna say it right now, as the bold prediction. You've got so many things that are pointing to this movie being good. I'm not saying it's going to be amazing beyond compare. I'm not saying it's going to be better than the original, but when people see this movie, or what I'm thinking is, when I see this movie, that I'm going to be like, that was good. When I saw A Quiet Place Part 2, and I was a little nervous about that, but when I finished it, I was like, wow, they did it. That was good. You know what I mean? And that's what I think this movie is going to do. I really do. I mean, fingers are crossed, man. And like I was telling Sunrise before we came on live, if it is not good, we're going to do an episode. We're going to have a box of tissues, and we're going to cry live.
Pity party.
I'm going to cry live, man. And that it's going to break my heart.
Yeah, man.
Your heart won't get broken.
Yeah. In the chat, we got my man Jason. Jason's in the chat saying, what's up, Night Watch? What's going on, man? How you doing? Nice to see you. Logan saying, it's going to be number 2 in the collection. This movie will be very potent and a conversation starter. I think it
absolutely.
I definitely think it will be a conversation starter for sure. I definitely think so.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Logan. Thank you for that. Quincy saying it's going to be great. All right.
Yeah, it is.
We got my man Tony Man in the chat. What's going on, brother? Saying, if it's too woke and pandering, I won't enjoy it. I just want a good old-fashioned horror movie without a message. I think that the way that they're going to do this, and they totally respect the original. And I think they understand that what made the original so good and so universally accepted was you had the social commentary in the movie without it being ham-fisted.
Yeah, it's not like thrown in your face, man.
Yeah. So logic dictates that they try to follow that. I'm not saying that whether it's going to have more or less commentary, but I think it's going to be done in a way that's organic in the movie. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Right.
Can I comment on that?
Like true to fact, man?
Sure.
On that? So whenever I was telling you before we started, man, I was very skeptical about this movie. Was it just going to not be a film that talked about like real violence on black bodies, or was it just going to be an attempt to be progressive just for the sake of being progressive.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, man, like this film really talks about important issues.
Hmm.
And man, I love it. It's not woke if it does it well, and it
Right.
does it honest.
And it's
And
organic.
it's
Yes.
organic, and it
Yeah.
doesn't come from a completely political view.
Right. Right. Good
So
point. I agree with
yeah,
that because if you have a movie and, we're going to go on a little tangent, but if you have a movie like, I don't know, I don't want to say any specific names, but if you have a movie where they do something because they know that that's what people want and it's a progressive thing to do, whether it's changing a character's culture or sex or whatever, and if it's done in a way where it doesn't make sense in the story or the mythology of the movie or the franchise, to me that's when it's woke.
yes,
This
sir.
movie, right from the beginning, we know where this movie is coming from when you talk about the origin of Daniel Robitaille. So we're already in the dark territory, so to speak, no pun
Yeah.
intended. So
Yeah.
this movie is following those angles, and as long as it doesn't go like to an extreme, I think it's going to be fine, man. For real, I
Right.
think I think they're going to do it right. I really do. I'm hoping so, Tony. I'm hoping so.
I think
Um,
so too, man. Yeah.
yeah, I really do. I really, really do. Jason says, I hope it's great. Yeah, man. You and me both, man. Steven saying, I agree with you, Tony, man. Logan saying, me too. Yeah, yeah. Um, Quincy saying, credit scene, y'all. Think so? It would not surprise me, but I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Will there be an extra credit scene? What do you think, Coriander?
Oh, shoot, that would be awesome if there was.
Okay. All right.
Well, I don't know because I haven't seen the ending of the film, but that would be awesome if, like, it showed somebody saying Anthony in the mirror, like in the first one did Helen, and then
Yeah.
he pop up, and then that just segues into the next film that they do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Eric saying the social commentary in the original was done perfectly. It's there, but you're not beat over the head with it. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Logan saying, I think this is going to be the Black Panther of horror, in my opinion. People will be surprised. OG version was very woke. Oh,
Wow.
really? Huh. And
Wow, man.
he says, subtly. Okay. All right. Tony Man saying the original, I loved it. I rooted
Mm.
for Daniel. Absolutely. Yeah. And then he said, Logan was saying at the end. I think he was saying that it was woke at the end.
Can I say
Okay.
something real quick, man? I think that one of the problems why people are calling this woke is because of the police brutality issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Could be.
you know, I mean, I've got police friends, and they're not going around mowing down black people, but we have to remember that this is told through a black lens, okay?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And imagine if I mean, I'm white, obviously, but if I were to see something like George Floyd or Dante Wright happen, or hear about things like they talked in the other film about Daniel Robitaille getting his arm sawn off and something with bees, these are
Yeah.
things that happened. I mean, there's no getting around it. And
Right.
what's wrong with telling those stories? You know?
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I said before, the bottom line is the original movie started from that place. So it's not like if the first movie never talked about, well, it doesn't make sense to say this, but you'll get what I mean. If the original movie didn't talk about the origins of Daniel Robitaille and how he came to be Candyman and the tragedies that were bestowed on him, and then this movie came out with all of those things, that would be kind of a little bit of a shake up. You know what I'm saying? But the
Absolutely.
original already laid the groundwork. So this movie is following in that tradition. And as far as we can tell from the trailers and TV spots, it's expanding the mythology. But
Yeah.
to me, it makes total sense. You know what I mean? They're
And
expanding what we've already known from the original. So,
yeah, and I've
yeah.
said this in my review that I did. If you wanna bitch about the origin story, then you need to fuss at Clive Barker. The original
Yeah.
Candyman was a tall British white man.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
it's always been evolving. Just in
Absolutely.
different. It's always been more of a class issue, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Logan saying sunrise on the money. Absolutely.
Oh,
Quincy saying, listen to Tony Todd. He said it's going to knock us the fuck out. Yeah, and one of our earliest episodes, trying to cover all this great information. That's what we heard, man. Is he's very excited and he's really standing behind this. And I would think it's going to be pretty much like he said, because he understands that this is the role that has definitely signified his career. He's made peace with that and he's fine with that. So I definitely think
I don't think he'd step into this if it would like tarnish that. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So I think this is like, yeah, I think this is going to be great.
Tony Todd said he'd be completely fine if the first line of his eulogy would be somewhere Candyman in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So. And why not? And why not, man? Cool, man. Well, those are our predictions. We did 5. I mean, we did 6 instead of 5. So, hey, that was fun. And it was great having you guys in the chat. And by the way, for you guys in the chat, please give the video a like, and that would help out the channel. And also in the comment section, let us know what you think of these predictions. And if you guys have any other predictions or information, we're going to continue to try to do as much coverage as we can as we head into these 5 days. It's going to be really exciting. Sunrise, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. It's been really great getting to know you and stuff. And you definitely have a good head on your shoulders for movies and your fandom for Candyman. So it's great to have you on here. We hope you can come back on. And like I said, I will have Sunrise's channel's link in the description. So awesome job, guys. I really appreciate it. And I guess that'll be about it. So for you guys in the chat watching a replay, thanks for watching. Come back with us some other time, and we will catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out, guys.
Up church.